After some buzz in the grapevine, Charles Leclerc has officially hitched his wagon back to Ferrari by inking a multi-year deal with the Italian squad. Although Leclerc was among the 14 drivers in the last lap of their contracts, even amid whispers of other teams eyeing him, he was pretty much Maranello's to lose all along. But the exact duration of this new chapter remains a mystery, as Ferrari has chosen to keep the contract details under wraps. Ferrari had its sights set firmly on sorting out Leclerc's future, especially considering he's been one of the most promising talents in Formula One, entering the last stretch of the deal he inked back in 2019. But given Leclerc's openly professed love for the team, it never really felt like he was gearing up for a departure. True to that sentiment, he has now officially declared that he's sticking with Ferrari, donning the iconic red for quote-unquote several more seasons to come. Here's what he said when announcing the big news. "I'm very pleased to know that I will be wearing the Scuderia Ferrari race suit for several more seasons to come. To race for this team has been my dream since I was 3 years old. I used to watch the Monaco Grand Prix from the window of a friend's apartment at Saint-Devote Corner, and I would always look out for the red cars. This team is my second family ever since I joined the Ferrari Driver Academy in 2016, and we have achieved a lot together, fighting through thick and thin over the past 5 years. However, I believe the best is yet to come, and I can't wait for this season to start, to make further progress and be competitive at every race. My dream remains that of winning the World Championship with Ferrari, and I'm sure that in the years ahead, we will enjoy great times together and make our fans happy." This update will surely be a relief for team principal Fred Vasseur, who had been eagerly looking to extend the contract of the Monegasque driver. The Frenchman said, "Charles's bond to the Scuderia goes beyond that of just a driver in a team, as he has been part of the Ferrari family for 8 years now, dating back to a time before he first spotted the prancing horse emblem on his race suit. His values and those of our team are intertwined, and so it was natural for us to be in agreement on extending our collaboration. We know him for his incessant desire to push himself to the limit, and we appreciate his extraordinary abilities when it comes to fighting and overtaking in a race. We are determined to give Charles a winning car, and I know that his determination and commitment are elements that can make the difference in helping us reach our goals. Charles Leclerc and Ferrari are like a perfect match, so it only makes sense for them to join forces for the future. But Leclerc's dream of clinching the World Championship with Ferrari will have to wait for now. The culprit? Max Verstappen. As per Italian media reports, the Monegasque driver has sealed the deal with a contract extending until 2029. What's interesting is that Leclerc's new contract would give him a longer-term commitment compared to Verstappen, who was confirmed to be under contract with Red Bull until 2028. Both Leclerc and Carlos Sainz found themselves with contracts set to expire at Ferrari. On paper, they were free agents post-2024, but during this winter period, both were keen on getting some clarity about their futures. While Leclerc has got his answers, it appears Sainz might need to spend a bit more time in the waiting room before his situation becomes clear. It makes perfect sense that Leclerc is the first to ink a new commitment. Despite both drivers having a comparable points total last year, with Sainz even securing the only race win, Charles is and will always be Ferrari's golden boy. Having been part of the family for 8 years, he's clearly the internal favorite. The pay gap exists, and Leclerc doesn't hide his desire to clinch world titles with Ferrari. It's his dream, and he's determined to make it a reality in the upcoming years. Staying loyal to Ferrari is a no-brainer when you consider the market dynamics. All the top teams have their driver lineups pretty much locked in for the foreseeable future. Verstappen is the undisputed hero at Red Bull, and Sergio Perez's seat is a paradoxically coveted and challenging position in F1. It has the potential to either make or break a career. While the mere thought excites many F1 fans, team principal Christian Horner has repeatedly suggested that there's no room for another designated number 1 driver on the team. Leclerc holds the number 1 position at Ferrari, a reality that Sainz might not be thrilled about. Meanwhile, Mercedes has George Russell lined up as the potential successor to their star driver Lewis Hamilton, and McLaren boasts long-term contracts with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. In the next couple of years, Leclerc may have to settle, in all likelihood, for occasional podium finishes and wins. Red Bull holds a dominant position in the current ground effect era of F1, and indications suggest that this trend will persist in 2024 and 2025. On the flip side, Ferrari is facing some challenges, and there have been moments of visible frustration from Leclerc in recent seasons. Naturally, the field will come closer together, but Red Bull's lead is substantial enough that realistically, Ferrari and the rest will likely be contending for the best of the rest title. This is particularly true given that both Mercedes and Ferrari opted for a complete overhaul of their cars this winter, essentially starting almost from scratch. Looking ahead, with significant rule changes slated for 2026, it's expected that there won't be another major shift in direction during the winter of 24-25. Leclerc is no newcomer to the scene and is well aware that the real shot at chasing titles with Ferrari and challenging Verstappen's reign won't likely come until 2026. Behind the scenes, efforts are underway to align all the puzzle pieces and position themselves strongly for the next phase of F1 with a solid foundation. In the initial stages of the current era, Ferrari had a promising start, but challenges with their car concept necessitated a shift in direction for the current year. Frederic Vasseur was brought in with a mission to iron out the wrinkles in Ferrari's performance in the coming years. The climb back up the ranks appears to be underway, at least on the surface. While Leclerc and Ferrari might seem destined for each other on paper, in reality, there's a substantial amount of mutual trust. For the time being, Leclerc might be observing Verstappen's victory streak, but come 2026, the Monegasque driver tries to turn Verstappen's life into a nightmare on the racetrack. The 2024 season will signify the third consecutive year under unchanged regulations, an unusual occurrence in the world of Formula One. We're already familiar with the outcomes of the first two seasons and who emerged as the primary beneficiaries. As we approach year number 3 with the same regulations, the anticipation for heightened competition at the forefront is palpable. The expectations are particularly lofty for Ferrari, given the impressive roster under the guidance of Frederic Vasseur. Former Ferrari boss Peter Windsor perfectly captured the sentiments of every Ferrari fan when he shared his expectations for the upcoming 2024 season. The Tifosi, Ferrari's ardent fans, have been yearning for the euphoria of Formula One success since 2008, which marked the Scuderia's last championship victory. After years of disappointment, with internal challenges and missed championship opportunities, the frustration among fans has reached a tipping point. Peter Windsor underscored this sentiment in his recent YouTube livestream, discussing Ferrari's prospects for the upcoming 2024 season. A fan asked him where Ferrari will place at season's end, and this was his response. "I think they'll go pretty well. I say that about Mercedes and Ferrari because, for Pete's sake, they've had 2 years working on these regulations. It's not often that the regulations remain pretty much unchanged for 3 years, so if they don't get it right in year 3, then they might as well go and do Formula E or something. So I'd like to think they're going to be there winning, 5 races maybe. Be nice if even more. But they've got very good drivers. They've got good people there. They've got Freddie Vasseur running it. Should be pretty good. If they're not, I don't know if I've got any hair left at all really. I will tear my hair out, what remains of it anyway, if they have another bad year." What do you think? Will Ferrari get it together, or will Peter Windsor lose what's left of his hair? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the hottest F1 news.